Right, well, it's a lovely morning in our wood. It's middle of winter here, January. Let's see. The Mercedes is under covers. I've got a cover for that because now that there isn't a single mark on that bodywork, I want to try and keep it good. That's my ATV actually under cover, and that's why Amy's got a cover as well. I'll try and keep the dust off it. The Crossfire here is temporarily in a spot where my 2CV was, and the reason is because the 2CV has been at my friend's little workshop where he's done a lot of work on the engine to upgrade the torque and increase the engine size slightly. Now, I'll probably let him explain it when I get there, because I'm going to pick it up today. It's been completed, the work, so I'm hoping to get it completed. Picked up today, and I'm going shortly. But it's got to be run in, apparently, obviously. So I won't be able to explore its increased power for a month or so yet till I run it in. But anyway, so we'll go off and have a look at that now and bring it home. Right, well, this is my car, I think. Some old 2CVs here. So we'll find out what's happened to it. Well, it's all shiny and nice.
If the weather had been a bit more forgiving, I'd have given it a wash under the bonnet for you.
That's all right. So, just in layman's terms, what have you actually done?
Right, I've stripped everything off the front of the engine, right down to the engine block.
Right.
I've removed the old pistons and barrels, which were a set of low compression barrels that were fitted on various circumstances for use for areas that had poor fuel quality. The lower the compression, the lower the fuel quality it will burn. And I've now replaced them with 650 cc pistons and barrels from Burton, and then basically reassembled the engine back up using Super Viton pushrod seals to make sure that the pushrod seals are completely sealed, and also using Burton rocker cover seals to make sure that that's a super oil-tight fit, and they're reusable, as are the Viton pushrod seals. Right. It was then turned over several times by hand, setting up the tappets before I put the rocker covers back on. I then took your carburettor apart, cleaned it. I've now jetted up the carburettor with the 652cc jet kit you can get, and it's a slightly bigger jet kit.
Right.
So it's now going to poke a bit more fuel into it, so it will give it a little bit more get up and go, and resealed everything with new clips to make sure there's no leaks. Also,
new leads.
Ensuring your breather is connected, because it will breathe slightly heavier with the 650cc displacement. Right. So I made sure that's all tight. It's got Magna Core 8mm silicon leads on that, which are designed to handle the power output of the Dynacoil solid state coil, and that really does chuck out spark. That is a serious.
Hello.
I use these myself, and it's solid state, and it's got a tremendous resistance to heat.
Right. So I should have solved hopefully that heating problem, because there can't be anything else for it to do, really.
Well, I've done the tappets.
Yeah, because you've done that, and you've done the carburetor, and you've done the electrical. There ain't nothing else.
Yes, it's an older carburetor, and there is a slight flat spot on it. But just between, like, there, you get halfway up, and it's just between there and there. But they do suffer from that eventually.
But putting a new carb on this wouldn't be a big deal, would it, if I wanted to?
No, and they're straight off the shelf, and they are highly reliable now. I've got a new carburettor I fitted myself, and it was literally like, when you started running, it felt like a new car. It was very strange. I've fitted Silverflex braided hose from basically on both sides of the pump, and all new clips and a new disposable fuel filter to make sure that there's no particles get up through the pump into your new pistons and barrels. I've marked it on the carburettor that I've jetted it up for 652cc, just in case anybody else apart from myself works on it. And also made a point of putting a label onto the engine and also a label onto your airbox. So if somebody will immediately see that it's 652, unless somebody had to put some piston rings in it, they'd be a bit disappointed. Because they wouldn't fit that particular. What else was there? I just followed up on your on your request list. I've checked the front brakes, and they've got plenty of meat on the pads. They all grip up nicely. I've adjusted the handbrake. I whipped off the rear drums and had a peer inside. Lots of meat on the rear shoes. Took it out for a test run, and you can feel it. You can feel it pull up, really pull up now. And I think that's it. I just did a basic.
All right. So what do I'll run it in. So when do you want it back again then to check it or whatever? 500
miles. I guess with your passion, you know about running engines in. Right. Well, 50's down here on it, and there's a list of bits I've kind of done, and I still stuck to what even though it took a little longer, I still stuck to what I said for. The labour and test drive, because the test drive was longer. That was 30 miles on a test drive to make sure I zipped it straight up to my friendly garage. They tested the emissions and the MOX, and they said there's literally 0 MOX at all, so it's not burning any hydrocarbons, which means or oil, so it's burning clean. Bit new. You've got these on the front, which are Burton exhaust clamps. I fitted those on the back as well, and they're a really good option for making a super a gas-tight seal.
I found some of them somewhere. Were they in the back of the car?
These ones? I can't think now. I think you might have found the old clamps I took. I think...
maybe they were the old ones.
Okay. I've done something on this recently and I can't remember what it was.
Clamps. I had some clamps. Because you fitted some for me. Right, well, the little car is back home and it's running well. Obviously, I'm running it in, so... I was struggling to keep the revs down, and with lots of cars behind me trying to keep the speed down, but I kept it hopefully under 4,000 revs, and was certainly tried not to go more than 50 miles an hour. It runs lovely. I mean, it's really smooth, the engine, and maybe it's just my imagination. It's difficult to tell, but it feels like it's got more torque to it, but it certainly was pulling quite nicely in top, because I was in top to keep the revs down, where in other cases I probably would have been in third on this car. So it was going really well. I'm really pleased we've got the chrome wipers here. This arm is sort of, well, it's not chrome, but it's a chrome effect, isn't it? Whatever it, stainless. And these were originally black, so I replaced those for chrome. The downside is obviously they pick up reflections and they're right on the windscreen, but I think they look nicer. They look more in keeping because the black ones looked out of place really. And I'm trying to get this car looking really smart. I'm still not convinced with the chrome rings that I bought, those beauty rings that I bought for the wheels, but as I've got them now, I've left them on. But other than that, excuse me, it's looking good. So hopefully, when we get it run in the next few weeks, and done a few thousand kilometers in it, or miles, I can see how it really goes. Okay, that was a cold night last night. We had, as you can see here, we had some heavy frost. I think it went down to about -9 last night. Pretty cold. The sun's up now and it's warming up. You can still see the frost here in the shadow. And the car here, the little 2CV's got frost that's melting, so that's quite thick actually. That's almost like snow. So it was pretty cold last night. So let's see how it starts. Right, We'll have a bit of choke, if I can remember where it is here. The choke's fully out, and we'll try starting it now. Right, well that started first time. Choke back in halfway. Right, well, I know it was running yesterday. It hasn't been left for a while, but that was an instant start after an extremely cold night. I don't recall it ever being quite as good as that before. So, is it possible that the new coil is doing the job here? Maybe all the bad starting that I've had maybe has been improved by the coil. Could be a combination of other things. We've got new leads as well. And in fact, what I'm beginning to think now is that maybe I should have this coil and the new leads exactly the same and fitted to the Amy, and see if that improves that car, because that Amy has always been a bad starter. Always, all the time I've had it. And I'm thinking of doing that. But we'll see how this goes, because when it's been left for a week or something, that might be a better test. Right, well, taking it for another little ride, and going great. Absolutely great. I mean, you already, maybe I'm imagining it, but I really can feel that it's got more torque. It just seems to pull nicely. Obviously, I'm not revving it, and I'm trying also not to, put too much torque on it at high gears. It's difficult getting the right sort of speed and everything when you're running it in, but it does feel great, and I think the car is just going to be fantastic when it's done. You know, all run in and ready to just drive it. Okay, that building is coming on. We're working on the next floor up now. This is inside what will be a ground floor apartment or flat. Okay, that's it for now. Right, well, I'm running out of places to park cars at the moment, because there's vehicles and people working everywhere, and there's mud everywhere. So 2CV is here next to my stock of, well, originally I got 34,000 bricks, probably down to 25,000 now. So we'll leave that here. All the cars that get covered in dust because of the building work and the mixing that's going on over here. And over here I've got the Mercedes now covered up, the Citroen Amy covered up, undercover, and the Crossfire undercover. My GV, of course. It's a nice looking car, that Crossfire. I don't know how people don't like it. It really is a nice car. It's a beautiful looking car, actually, especially from the rear. I mean, it's a fantastic rear end. And we like a rear end, eh? Okay, well, that's it for now, I think.